In this video, I'm going to do a walkthrough of me using the VLOOKUP formula. If this helps you out, then please do subscribe for more easy how-to videos, and let's get into it. I'm going to talk out loud my thought process as I'm writing these formulas, and I'm hoping it helps you understand my thinking and reasoning behind using some of these formulas. So here, I've got some sales data with the rep, the item sold, the month that it was sold in, and the amount that was sold. I know that this is a relatively small data set, but imagine there's hundreds of rows and columns of random data in here. Because when you have massive amounts of data, the VLOOKUP comes in really handy. So I'm going to select a random cell off to the right, and I'm going to type in equals VLOOKUP and open my parentheses. And when I do this, Excel gives me the basic structure of how a VLOOKUP formula should look. You can see here that it's asking me to first give it the lookup value, the table array, the column index number, and the range to look up. Each of these is separated by a comma, and each one is technically called an argument. So we're giving Excel a handful of arguments for it to use in our VLOOKUP formula. The first argument is Excel is asking us what we want to look up. You can simply type in the exact word or phrase that you're looking for, but it helps to have a value that you can pick and also change whenever you like. So instead of typing a word or a phrase, I'm going to select cell F6 and I'll add a comma. The next part of the argument is giving Excel a range of cells to analyze. I want to give Excel my entire table, but the VLOOKUP formula starts at the leftmost column of the table and it can only look to the right of that. In other words, I'm going to end up telling Excel to find a certain representative for me, which for me is in column A, so I'm going to select columns A through D, and then I'm going to add a comma. Now, if the first column that you were going to analyze was item, for example, you would start your selection at column B and then select the columns to the right of that. Now, the third part of my formula is asking me to pick a column index number. Since my range of cells is columns A through D, that means column A is 1, column B is 2, column C is 3, and column D is 4. So using that information, we specify which column that Excel should return to us. In other words, what information do we want to see in return? In my case, I want to give Excel the representative, and in return, I want to know how much that person sold. That information is in column D, so in my case, I would type in 4 and a comma, since column D is the fourth one in my range. And then the last part of the argument is we have to tell Excel if we want an exact or an approximate match. I want an exact match, so I'm going to type in false, but if you want an approximate match, you can type in true. I usually go with an exact match, but approximate is good for when you have partial data that you're looking for, or you want it to match something that's close to your lookup value, but an exact match isn't possible. So once I close my parentheses, I'm going to hit enter. And it says NA because we don't have anything entered in cell F6, and that's the cell that our formula is using to search. But in cell F6, if I type in Andrews, you can see how our VLOOKUP formula starts to work. I'm going to format cell F5 to be a currency, so it looks a little bit cleaner. And I can go back into F6, and I can type in Smith instead. And you can see how it automatically shows us the amount sold for that representative. If I wanted to have this VLOOKUP in a separate sheet, I could do that too. I'm going to open a blank document here, and I'm going to type out my formula in B2. So I'm going to write equals VLOOKUP. I want it to look at cell B3, comma, my range. So I'm going to go to the worksheet that had my range, and I'm going to select A through D. I'll put a comma, I'll put a 4, comma, false, and then close my parentheses. And then in B3, I can type in Smith, and the same result will populate. This is good for when you want to work out of a worksheet without having all sorts of data in there as well. It just makes for a cleaner look and still gets the job done. And there you have it. So that wraps up my video. If this helped you, then please do subscribe and be on the lookout for more Excel how-to videos. I'm hoping to help as many people as I can become data experts in Excel in the most easy to understand way possible. So that's it for today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.